One Night in Miami. Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, Jim Brown, and Cassius Clay, more commonly known as Muhammad Ali, come together at a hotel. They are celebrating Ali's win against Sonny Liston. However, the conversation takes a more serious turn as each reflects on their responsibilities as celebrities during the civil rights movement. Regina King has won an Oscar and an Emmy for her acting. Now she's behind the camera, with One Night in Miami being her first theatrical film. And yes, I know it was released on Amazon, but the movie played in some theaters. She's also done plenty of projects for television, and perhaps that's why One Night in Miami doesn't feel like a first-time feature from a director. The movie was based on a stage play by Kemp Powers, who also wrote the film's screenplay. A major problem with movies based on plays is that they often feel confined. It's one thing to see actors on a stage acting live. It's another thing to watch a movie where the actors stand in a room talking and the camera is doing very little movement. The latter can become pretty boring quickly without the excitement of live performances. Take, for instance, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, another recent film based on a play. While I like that movie, I said in my review that it does feel like a play. After all, a bunch of people standing in a room while the camera follows around whomever is speaking at that moment. It can get old. But for the most part, One Night in Miami doesn't fall into that trap. Part of it is King's direction, but there's also Tammy Riker's cinematography. Riker makes the most of the limited space, and her color grading is gorgeous with rich, vibrant colors that pop. Production designers Paige Buckner and Barry Robeson also deserve their kudos for recreating that era, and Oscar winner Tariq Anwar does a great job of keeping up the pace with the film's editing. All these things work in tandem to keep things interesting. One Night in Miami takes an interesting approach to adapting a play for film versus Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And nowhere is this more evident than in the film's flashback scenes. For instance, in its big flashback moment, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom just lets the camera sit on Chadwick Boseman's character, which is fine given his performance. It's fine. The camera just follows him around, lets him do his thing. Great moment. It's a great scene in the film, probably going to get him an Oscar nom. But by contrast, Miami has a flashback to a Sam Cooke concert gone wrong. And it sends the viewer back to that moment in grand detail, in an energetic scene, one of the film's best moments. Of course, you can't please everyone. I know some people are going to find guys talking in a room boring no matter what. But the movie caught my attention where the main reasons were the performances and Powers' dialogue. Speaking of which, let's get something out of the way. One Night in Miami is based on a real meeting among Malcolm X, Cooke, Brown, and Ali. I've read complaints about how those four legends definitely didn't have such an intense conversation, how the dialogue doesn't sound realistic because that's not how friends talk when they're together. I get that. It requires some suspension of disbelief, which I am more than happy to provide because their heated debate is riveting. Malcolm X is concerned about his safety from the Nation of Islam led by Elijah Muhammad. Cassius Clay is converting to Islam. Sam Cooke is defending his contributions, or according to Malcolm X, lack thereof, to the civil rights movement. And Jim Brown is considering moving from football into acting. All these storylines intersect into a powerful tale about cultural change and responsibility. That said, the performances here are outstanding. Aldous Hodge plays Jim Brown. He does a lot with a relatively small part compared to the other actors. And let me add, his exchange with Beau Bridges' character at the beginning of the movie made my jaw drop. How their dialogue ends. I had to stop the movie for a second because it shocked me to where I realized I'd stopped paying attention to the movie. I was so caught up thinking, did that really just happen? Did he really just say that? Eli Gorey, great as Cassius Clay, aka Muhammad Ali, arguably better at impersonating him than Will Smith and Michael Mann's Ali, believe it or not. By contrast, I don't know if Kingsley Ben-Adir was quite as good as Malcolm X as Denzel Washington was when he played him, but Ben-Adir is still strong though. It's a toss-up between him and Leslie Odom Jr. as Sam Cooke as to who gives the better performance in the film. I'm leaning toward Odom Jr. due to the final musical number here, as well as how he transforms his voice to sound just like Cooke's. Odom Jr. should be getting bigger roles post-Hamilton, because he's a remarkable performer. All these guys are. Overall, One Night in Miami is a well-made adaptation in which all the pieces come together under Regina King's direction to create a noteworthy, thought-provoking film. I give it 3.5 out of 4 stars. What did you think of One Night in Miami? Let me know in the comments below. Please hit like and subscribe. Follow this channel on Twitter. Until next time, this has been Josh. Thanks for watching.